Do you have a hard time being heard when you sing? Like, no matter how much you try to project your voice, people just can't hear you when you sing. Well, if that is you, then I've got a little trick for you, my friend. If you don't know me already, my name is Veronica Kokos, and I am a voice teacher located here in Richmond, Virginia, providing voice lessons locally, as well as lessons online to people located all around the world. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some tips for projecting your voice when you sing through energizing the breath. Now, this video is for singers that have a really hard time singing out. Like, they cannot project their voice no matter how hard they try and can barely be heard when they sing. But what I want to make clear here, though, is that there are voices out there that are a little bit on the smaller or softer side naturally. And there is nothing wrong with those types of voices. Honestly, they're beautiful in their own right. What I'm talking about here is people that have a loud speaking voice perhaps, but it doesn't seem to translate to singing. So I just want to make that distinction here. Now, every voice teacher might approach this issue differently, but I found that the thing that works best for my students is when we tune into the energy of the breath. Now, breath energy / breath support, as it's often referred to, it can get kind of complicated. I talk about these things with my own students and we work on them together. I also discuss breath support / breath energy in my membership program, which you can check out in the link below. But I'm not going to get too deep into this concept here just because, like I said, things can get really complicated. But a key thing to think about when it comes to breath energy and breath support is really to notice how you're using your breath when you sing. This is going to come back a lot later on when we talk about projecting the voice. So what I mean by this and what I mean by noticing the breath is noticing that when you're inhaling, is your rib cage expanding? Are you feeling expansion through the lower belly? Another thing to think about is the energy that you have as you start to sing. As you start to sing, does it feel like there's a lot of energy in your breath, or do things just kind of feel lackluster? These are some of the things to think about and notice, which are really, really important when it comes to breath energy and breath support. Noticing how we're using the breath and keeping these things in mind. When I'm working on projection and making the voice heard with certain students, I really emphasize to these students that projecting the voice is like calling to someone in another room. So let's say I wanted to get someone's attention, I would go, "Hey!" I wouldn't go, "Hey," nobody would hear me. So when I'm working on this with students, I have them breathe as if they're going to sing, and then I have them call out, "Hey," as if they're calling to someone in another room, like this. "Hey!" Like that. And I have each student do that a few times, just at a normal speaking pitch, really noticing what's going on in the body. I have them tell me, what they're feeling in regards to the energy in their breath, what they're feeling in their body and their voice as they do this. I have them do this a few times at a normal speaking pitch, and then I have them raise the pitch ever so slightly. So what we'll do after calling out, "Hey!" a few times at a normal speaking pitch is that I raise the pitch like this. "Hey!" ever so slightly higher. Now let's go ahead and try this together. And as we do this, I really encourage you to tune into the breath, noticing if you're breathing before you're doing this, if you find that the energy that you're using to call out is coming from down here, from lower in the body. Just sort of noticing these things as you do this exercise with me. So let's go ahead and do this together, breathing in and calling out at a normal pitch volume like this. "Hey!" So let's go ahead and try that together. Breathing in. "Hey!" Now breathing in again. "Hey!" Breathing in one more time. "Hey!" Now let's go ahead and try that at a slightly higher pitch so we can make the connection to our singing voice. So it'll be something like this. Hey! Just a little bit higher in our range. So go ahead and try this with me. Breathing in. Hey! Breathing in again. Hey! And one more time, breathing in. Hey! Now when you do this, it may not be perfect. You might even have a little bit of voice cracking going on. However, I really encourage you to, again, focus on the breath here. Obviously, when we're learning how to do something new, we're not going to do it perfectly the first time. This will take some practice. But a key thing to remember here is that we are not yelling, we are not shouting. We're simply calling out by breathing as if we're going to sing. And listen, if it feels like you're shouting or yelling, you're doing it wrong. It should feel very easy, feel like just a gentle calling out sensation. And the thing that really separates this exercise from something like yelling or shouting is the breath factor. So as I mentioned many times before, this exercise really revolves around how we're using the breath. When I'm working with my own students, some of my students like to imagine a fire-breathing dragon as they do this. So it kind of gives you that sensation of breathing fire. I mean, probably not many of us have experienced that, but it's just sort of helpful to have that sort of visual to remind yourself that we need that energy in the breath to make the voice heard. Then, once you're ready to sing a scale or a song of some type, take the same energy that you had in this exercise and apply it to that. And like I said before, these things take practice. So it's going to take noticing what's going on as you do that hey calling out exercise. It's going to take noticing what's happening there and then putting those things to practice when you're working on an exercise. And like I said, we're going to make voice cracks. We're not going to be perfect the first time we do this. And obviously if it feels like you're yelling or screaming, we definitely don't want that. So if you need a little extra guidance with this sort of exercise and you want feedback from a teacher to know if you're yelling or not, feel free to check out my membership linked in the comments. I'd be happy to help you and listen to your singing. So again, the thing that really separates this exercise from yelling or screaming is the breath factor. I wish you the best of luck with this exercise. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and happy singing, y'all.